Imagine going to bed with your life's work invested in thousands of acres, the culmination of generations of effort and dedication, only to wake up and find your biggest customer, China, gone, taking billions with them. The shock is immediate and paralyzing. Overnight, China imposed a 100% tariff on U.S. farm products, instantly halting trade. The news spreads like wildfire, leaving farmers in disbelief. Last year, China bought over $12 billion in U.S. soybeans, half of all U.S. exports. Now that number is zero. The impact is staggering. The price of soybeans cratered. Farmers who planned their year around stable prices now face catastrophic losses. Their financial security evaporates overnight. Seeds, fertilizer, fuel, all paid for. The investments made in anticipation of a profitable harvest now seem like a cruel joke. The market collapses just as the harvest comes in. Timing couldn't be worse. The choice: sell at a massive loss, or store crops and hope for a miracle. It's a gamble with no good options, but every day unsold means more risk of spoilage and total loss. The pressure mounts with each passing hour. Silos and grain bins overflow, crops rot, and hope fades. The situation becomes increasingly dire. This isn't a market dip, it's an economic heart attack for the American heartland. Communities that rely on farming are hit hardest. The foundation of decades of trade has been pulverized by a political decision made thousands of miles away. The ripple effects are felt everywhere. Farmers are left with mountains of unsold crops and no way to turn a profit. Their livelihoods hang in the balance. The shockwaves are immediate and devastating. Families gather around kitchen tables trying to figure out how to survive. The logistical nightmare grows as crops pile up, unsold and deteriorating. The infrastructure can't keep up with the crisis. For many, it's not just a financial crisis, it's the collapse of a way of life. Generations of farming heritage are at risk. The heartland is drowning in its own harvest, with no lifeline in sight. The future looks uncertain and bleak. How did the world's most crucial agricultural trade relationship collapse? What led to the unraveling of a partnership that once seemed unbreakable? It's the fallout of a trade war, one that sent shockwaves through global markets and upended decades of cooperation. The Trump administration imposed sweeping tariffs on Chinese goods, aiming to pressure Beijing on trade practices. In response, China retaliated with a 100% tariff on U.S. soybeans, instantly doubling their price and making them uncompetitive overnight. China, the world's largest soybean consumer, didn't hesitate. They simply turned to Brazil and Argentina, whose farmers were eager to fill the gap. Commerce didn't pause. It rerouted, possibly for good. Ships that once sailed from American ports now charted new courses to South America. American farmers became pawns in a geopolitical chess match, caught in the crossfire of decisions made far from their fields. The American Soybean Association warned, once China finds new suppliers, it's nearly impossible to win them back. Relationships built over decades can vanish in a matter of months. Trust is broken, supply chains shift, and new relationships form. The ripple effects reach every corner of rural America. The administration believed it had leverage, but forgot a basic rule: the customer is always right, especially when they buy billions. Losing that customer means losing the future. The result? U.S. farmers are left stranded, watching their markets disappear and their livelihoods threatened. The pain is immediate, but the consequences could last for generations. Entire communities feel the strain as opportunities dry up. This isn't just about tariffs, it's about losing a customer that may never return, and the uncertainty that now shadows the heartland. The trade war's real victims are the families who feed the world, now left to wonder what the future holds for the next generation. Meet Chris Gibbs, an Ohio farmer living the crisis firsthand. He's losing $2 for every bushel of soybeans, $100 per acre. For a family farm, that's devastating. Farming is tough even in good years. This loss threatens to end generations of work. Gibbs, like many, took out loans for seed and equipment. Now, he's paying to work his own land. Many farmers who supported the trade war now feel betrayed as promised gains never materialize. They don't want handouts, they want a fair market to sell their crops. Gibbs has spoken out, urging Washington to see the real human cost of these policies. The pain is no longer short-term. For many, it's looking permanent. Farmers are caught in political crossfire, their livelihoods gambled away. The promise of long-term gain feels more distant every day. In Minnesota, the Purfirst family sits on 100,000 bushels of unsold soybeans, a mountain of grain with nowhere to go. Selling now means locking in catastrophic losses, so they store the crop, hoping for a turnaround. Storage isn't free, silos must be maintained, spoilage is a constant threat, and costs keep rising. This isn't just a bad year, it's a threat to the future of the farm. Equipment purchases are delayed, and the next generation is told to wait. The dream of passing down the family farm is slipping away. The emotional toll is immense. Farming is more than a job, it's an identity. Symbolic gestures like soybean week don't pay the bills. What families need is an open market, not empty recognition. The crisis is putting the legacy of family farms at risk. For many, hope is running out. The government's answer, a $10.14 billion bailout, stuck in political gridlock due to a government shutdown. Farmers, told to be patriots, now wait as politicians argue and aid is delayed. Even if the money arrives, many are skeptical. Past bailouts favored big corporations, not family farms. There's fear this will be another corporate giveaway, not real help. Farmers don't want bailouts, they want to farm and earn a living through trade. A government check is a bandage, not a cure. The real solution is fixing broken markets and restoring lost relationships. Trade, not aid, is the rallying cry. Farmers want their livelihoods back, not another round of political promises. The bailout is a poor substitute for a functioning market. The crisis deepens as Washington stalls. The crisis doesn't stop at the farm gate, it spreads through entire rural communities. When farmers lose billions, they stop spending. Equipment dealers, seed suppliers, and local stores all feel the pain. Small towns depend on healthy farms. When farms fail, towns crumble, businesses close, jobs disappear, and tax revenue dries up. Schools suffer, budgets are slashed, class sizes grow, and programs are cut. The psychological toll is severe. Proud, self-reliant communities feel abandoned and anxious. The fabric of rural life unravels as uncertainty grows. The promises of a great new deal ring hollow as towns wither. This is more than economics. It's a social crisis. Stress and anxiety ripple through families and neighborhoods. The local economy, schools, and sense of community are all under threat. The trade war isn't just killing profits, it's hollowing out rural America. The heartland's future is at stake. For many farmers, this is déjà vu. The 2018 trade war brought tariffs, market chaos, and a bailout. Many never recovered. Promises that markets would bounce back proved false. Some buyers never returned. The lesson: markets aren't light switches. Trust and supply chains take years to build, seconds to break. Once customers find new suppliers, they rarely come back. The last bailout favored big corporations, fueling cynicism among family farmers. Now, skepticism about new aid is high. Will it help those who need it most? Farmers know the cost of lost markets from painful experience. They're being forced to repeat a failed experiment. The damage is long-term, not just a temporary setback. Farmers want stable, predictable trade, not another round of empty promises. Their pleas are rooted in hard-earned lessons, not theory. The real terror isn't just today's losses, it's the long-term damage to America's reputation as a reliable supplier. For decades, the US was the world's top soybean producer. China built its supply chain around that. The trade war shattered that trust. China turned to Brazil and Argentina, signing long-term deals. Every new port and field in South America is another nail in the coffin for US exports. We risk being permanently replaced in the global supply chain. Even high-level talks may be too late to undo the damage. Rebuilding trust will take years if it's possible at all. US agricultural policy is in disarray. No new farm bill in years, adding to the chaos. Without stable policy and trade, the future of American farming is precarious. The shadow of lost markets threatens to darken the heartland for a generation. The stakes have never been higher. What happens next? The uncertainty is palpable in rural communities across America, where every decision made in Washington ripples out to the fields and farms that feed the nation. Farmers wait for a bailout stuck in gridlock, knowing a check won't fix the real problem. They're left wondering how long they can hold on as bills pile up and hope wears thin. Crops sit unsold, prices are in the gutter, and China is buying elsewhere. The markets that once sustained these farms are slipping away, leaving barns and silos full, but wallets empty. Rural America's anxiety is at a breaking point, main streets are quieter, and the sense of community is threatened as families consider leaving the land they've worked for generations. Farmers want one thing: a return to fair, open trade, not handouts. They're not asking for sympathy, but for the chance to compete and thrive on a level playing field. They want the US to be a reliable partner, not a political pawn. International trust is hard-won and easily lost, and farmers know their livelihoods depend on it. The risk: losing our place as the world's top agricultural exporter, and the collapse of rural communities. The stakes are higher than ever before. This is about more than soybeans. It's about the future of the family farm and the nation's economic identity. Generations of hard work and tradition hang in the balance. More bailouts and blame games won't solve it. Real solutions require leadership, vision, and a willingness to put politics aside for the good of the country. The solution: end the trade war, rebuild trust, and reopen markets. Only then can American agriculture reclaim its strength and stability. It will take humility and real action to repair the damage. Communities are ready to do their part, but they need support and honest leadership. Farmers have sent a clear message: they need trade, not aid. Their voices echo across the heartland, demanding to be heard. The question remains: will anyone in power listen? The decisions made now will shape the future for millions. The future of the heartland depends on the answer. For America's farmers, the stakes could not be higher.